'cause I'm the weatherman. Oh, my thunderstrike, ride out the storm, I'm the weatherman. Oh, my breaking light, shake up the world, I'm the weatherman.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Fast Forecast coming to you today from aboard the Origin 600 Deadline. We are very pleased today to come to you with a special guest. We'll let them introduce themselves and their organization as usual. This is our Meet the Org number 13. So we'll go ahead and hop right in. Sir, if you introduce yourself and your org name and basically what your position is, and tell us a little bit about your organization.
And hello, I'm the Space Coder, and I'm very happy to be on the show. And technically, I'm representing two things here today. Number one, you want to talk about the Armory, which is not entirely an organization, but it's a tool for fellow citizens out there. And I'm also out here representing Atlas Defense Industries, where I am the Director of Community Support, which is the team that does all the promotional stuff for us. And I'm sure most people listening or watching know ADI. But if you don't, ADI is one of the largest organizations in the game, and we focus on a lot of things. We pretty much do everything except piracy. Piracy is a big no-no for us. And yeah, that's about it for the introductions.
Well, we'll get to ADI in a moment. Tell us about the Armory.
So the Armory is it's kind of a funny story because it started out as a personal project to make my job in ADI easier, because we would do all these photo shoots and I would need people to have the appropriate costume, the appropriate armor. And I would get so sick of having to actually go and figure out in the verse where to find all that armor. So I actually made a service that's actually going to pull this information for me, and so I could just type in some commands and it would give me the information on where to find what. And then I showed it to a couple people, and they were like, "Hey, this would actually be very useful to other people around the verse." So I actually sat down for a couple weekends and actually made it into a fully fledged service, and that's the Armory as we know it now, minus some upgrades that I made along the way. But basically, the Armory, it lets you find information and purchase locations on pretty much any piece of equipment in the verse, which I think is a pretty useful thing to have on hand if you're planning to head out to liberate some cargo or do some exploration or do anything else, really.
Is it just text, or are there images of the equipment?
There are also images. We don't have all of them yet, but we're working on it. There's a couple people sending pictures over, and I'm uploading them as fast as I can. But I think we're about halfway through all the armor and weapons right now. I'm not sure exactly, but I think we're about halfway. So the most common stuff is usually going to be there. The more obscure things, the more rare pieces are not. But slowly but surely, we're getting there.
So the Armory is basically the go-to if you want a piece of armor, equipment, ship weapon, to tell you what it looks like, where it is in Stanton.
Not ship weapons. It's only equipment for yourself.
Okay.
Equipment, weapons, additional gear. But yeah, it will work anywhere. Stanton, Pyro, wherever you wish, it will work.
Absolutely brilliant. And you got this, just basically, you created this to make your job easier.
Yeah, pretty much. And I never actually expected it to blow up this much. But I guess people find it useful. And I'm glad. I'm glad people actually have use out of something that I made.
Oh, well, we've popped around it a few times, and it's extremely helpful.
Well, thank you. I'm trying.
You had something, Doctor?
Yes, thank you. So, not having checked out the Armory myself, can I ask, do you catalog the rarer items that can't be picked up in ship shops and weapon stores?
Yes, we catalog those as well. Pretty much any piece of equipment you can think of. However rare, it is very likely there. And if it's not, you let me know. I can fix it.
Do you find that takes a lot of upkeep? Are there things that change?
Things change, but I have worked out the workflow to where it's mostly automated, where I don't have to touch it that much. And it just pretty much every once in a while I just run it and it updates everything to the values that need to be there.
That's incredibly useful.
It's extremely. There were certain things in your list that we have never even heard of, and it kind of makes it like a treasure hunt. It's like, never heard of this, wondering where it is, and just want to go find it.
I've had that feeling many times looking at the raw data. Just looking at it, it's like, hey, I have never heard of this thing. Where do I find this? What is it? And can I do something with it?
Oh yeah.
Usually I don't, because usually it's pretty well hidden somewhere. But
there's some armor.
But I'm sure
there's some armor that it's just like, where is this? This sounds interesting.
Yeah, you can sometimes figure it out from descriptions and stuff as to where to find it. But sometimes you just have to get lucky and just be in the right place at the right time,
or
open the right box,
or according to our pirate friends, kill the right people for it.
That also works.
Well, would you like to give the location of the website for everyone?
So you can find it at armory.thespacecoder.space, which is a pretty complicated link, I know, but domains are expensive and I wanted my name to be in there.
We will absolutely be sure to link to it whenever we post this up. That way traffic gets to you and to your site, because it is a very helpful site, and we find a lot of usage there. And like we said, it's kind of like a treasure hunting map. Things that we never thought to look for suddenly becomes, can we find that?
And then it's a kind of unusual use case for it, but I kind of like the idea of that.
Well, I'm definitely going on scavenger hunts after this.
Well, it does kind of add another loop to things outside of mining and bounty hunting. It's treasure hunt.
I mean, now that all the new loot is in place, I think definitely just exploring has gained a lot of value, where you can actually find something that you can either sell, because you can find the boxes with fruit and stuff in them, but you can also find weapons, you can find armor, you can find actually most knives that are currently available. You can't buy them in shops, you can just find them.
Oh, there's a ton of knives. We have a collection. Unfortunately, you can rarely get close enough to someone to use a knife. We do use them to cook with, though. They're very good with cooking.
They're good for cooking.
Evelyn just took a massive shot from that Idris.
We'd like to switch gears for a minute and talk about the ADI, if you would.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem.
You said they do a little bit of everything outside of piracy. Why is that?
So ADI is a lawful organization. So I know that some people do a little bit of smuggling, and we're okay with that, but we're not okay with piracy. We're trying to be lawful. We're trying to be we're trying to be lawful. So we do a lot of mining, we do commerce, but we also have a capital fleet, and we have a lot of marines, and it's kind of a very large combat and bounty hunting fleet as well. So, but yeah, we're trying to stay lawful as much as possible.
Well, so you just mentioned bounty hunting. Do you have any rules for engagement on your targets?
I think you would have to ask the director of that division, but I believe we're dealing mostly with bounties issued by the authorities at this stage.
So we'll have to schedule an appointment with the leadership of ADI, because we have some questions that we would like to basically do the same thing with them and interview them about this because we love having these kind of discussions with organizations. The Armory is a very valuable tool. It makes everything so much easier, and it leaves a lot of guesswork out. Um,
No, it saved me, when I made it first. At first, it was saving me hours, and I'm hoping it's saving hours to some other people as well.
are you going to expand it to ship weapons?
Probably not, since we have other tools that are much better. I mean, the DPS calculator is there's no way I could compete with that, and I'm not that interested in ship weapons at the moment. I've always been more interested in all the armors and all the equipment,
Makes sense.
so I don't think I'm going
Makes
to
sense.
expand it.
Specialize in what you're good at and what you're interested in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we do appreciate you coming in and sitting down. And for everyone around here, time is money. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, pop over to the Armory, take a look. It's a wealth of information. And be sure to support them if you can. So this is us from here at Your Fast Forecast. And from all of us, we wish you a good evening.
Yeah, 'cause I'm a weatherman.